Welcome. We're excited to have one of our Allen Key grads here with us today. Eugenia is here. She has taken the course, and we are going to get to talk about some really exciting things with her. So, would you like to start off just introducing yourself and just giving us a little bit about you?
Sure. I'm Eugenia Lagos. I am a mother to two little ones, 2.5 and 4.5. Live with my gorgeous husband in Columbus, Ohio. We've been here for about the last 7 years, and I grew up and lived in California up until that point. So I'm originally from the San Francisco Bay Area, and now call Ohio home.
Very exciting. Glad to have you in Ohio. Um, so you obviously are very busy, two little ones, a lot going on. Can you tell me what made the strategic planning for a life experience relevant for you and important for you at the time that you took the course?
Sure. So I took the course about a year and a half ago now, and my youngest at the time was just about a year. And if you can imagine, he still wasn't sleeping through the night. Um, it's a whole other thing. But my life at the time was chaos and I needed structure. So this helped my husband and I get on the same page about how to implement structure in our lives.
Yeah. I love that because a lot of people take the course and they come in usually focus on business or what's going on with work, and I love that it also trickles in to the family and what you're
Yeah.
doing at home, and that's why when I took it, I actually did go in for the business piece, and I was so excited and so relieved how much of that structure and that created for me and my family also. So I
Yeah.
love that that worked for you guys.
And
So
my
that's
husband and I work together too, so it's
awesome.
sometimes hard to know where work ends, life begins. It's all just all at once, all the time.
Yeah. So were you happy with the changes that you saw after the course and the action plan it gave you guys going forward?
For sure. What it did was it got the both of us to write down our goals for the year and know what each one had as a plan, and so that there weren't any surprises like, oh wait, you've been doing this, you're working on that. So we were able to get our boats rowing in the same direction. And then it also had us sit down and actually plot out our timeline for the year, and we planned every single little trip and parties we wanted to host or whatever life had in store. And of course things change, and of course people get sick, or the surprises come up, but it was really nice to have a general outline to figure out where to slot things in.
Yeah, it just helps you to all be working in the right direction and working as a
Yeah.
team. And if someone starts doing something and you understand the why and the goal and the value behind it, it helps you get behind that and support that more. And
Yeah.
having these goals that you're looking forward to and trips and parties, whatever, you kind of have the same goal in mind to work towards. So I love that you guys have that. A big goal or something that happened with the course, you started a little business, correct?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a
Yes.
little bit about that? So exciting.
Yeah, so the seeds of this business started prior to the course, but the course really allowed it to grow. So the business itself is a plant-based mosquito repellent company, and I should say mosquito and tick. It's an insect repellent, and it was born when I was pregnant with my second. We moved to a new house, and I was excited to just be pregnant and sit in my backyard. And I couldn't. I physically couldn't because I was getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. And it was just this, I don't know. It was a time that I felt sort of in distress, so that I couldn't take refuge in my own house.
Mhm.
Um, and I started looking at what natural options were available to me as a insect repellent, and found that they either were ineffective or sticky and greasy and just didn't smell great. So that was the seeds of the idea that there should be something better. And as strategic planning for life really got underway, I was able to take um, this a few general outlines of a business that I had in mind and put it down on paper and come up with an action plan for how to actually bring a product to market, how to, and just all the things that have to happen to go into bringing something like this to market. The repellent itself isn't just some concoction I made in my kitchen. It is a federally regulated industry. And so to get to finished product on the shelf, I needed to be able to, find a facility to produce it, get federal registration done, insurance, lots of kind of background infrastructure things that couldn't just happen overnight. And it took a lot of planning. And when I had 2 kids in diapers and was working full time with those kids, I needed to figure out how to make the most use of my time when they were sleeping or napping, or when I wasn't actively parenting.
Yeah. So I said little business. I mean, that's huge. That is
Yeah,
like,
thank you.
especially with 2 little ones. That's amazing. I
Yeah,
love if this helped you guys get the gears going and using. And if anyone, we will add this in the link, but that it is amazing. I was just telling you before we got on here how much I ordered some in the beginning of this summer, and I'm like, we're gonna need another bottle by the end of the summer because it is amazing. So if anyone's looking for a insect repellent, this one's it. I recommend it.
thank
I
you.
love that. And so since you started the business also, has the course helped you then move on further with that? And I'm sure you needed it more with juggling, your work life balance and the kiddos. You're into a lot of things. So has that been
Yeah.
helpful for you guys?
It helped us implement a way of life, I suppose. So I guess it really all starts with your values. That's a big part of the course, right? Is to define what your own personal values are, and what you, if you're doing the course with someone else, what your shared values are. Um, and it was really enlightening for my husband and I to do this. These are things that we knew intuitively, but getting those values out on paper, it really helps solidify just what they are. And then when you encounter any sort of roadblock, you get to look at that roadblock and look back at your values and say, how do I approach this block and make a decision that is in line with my values? And that is something that we do to this day, because your personal values, maybe they evolve slightly at the fringes, but they're not. There's my kids. Um, they're they largely hold true over time, right? So it's a really beautiful thing to come back and to use it as a decision-making framework,
Mhm.
right? To make decisions that are true to you.
Yeah. And I love that you hit on the shared values because that is a good point. I took the course by myself. And then when I was done, I had my values. I was working towards what I had wrote down. And then I had a huge transition in between that time of, starting a new job. And so our schedule was different, our flow was different. My values were spending more time with the kids. And then my husband had not taken the course. And then we were kind of, bumping heads because we didn't dig into our shared values. And that's when we got the book out and said, oh, okay,
Yeah,
we need to do that because we weren't having that partnership. I wasn't understanding what his goals were. He wasn't understanding what I were. So we did what you guys did. And then it started being like a well oiled machine and it made sense. And he would do something and I understood why and why that was valuable to him because he told
yeah,
me. And same thing on his end. And it's just been such a blessing to have that because it does help you operate as a family and a couple on a better understanding. So I love
totally. Yeah.
that. If someone came to you and they wanted to take this course or they were asked about it, what would you share with somebody?
So we've actually recommended this course to other friends that are couples, and it's largely going to that exact thing. Is it helps you know yourself better and it helps you get to know one another better, and um it it allows you to understand why your spouse or your partner in business or what have you is making a decision they're making. So it helps as something to come back to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it's a family tool. My kids are getting a little bigger. They're 6 and 4. And this summer is the first summer they were home with us. So I actually got the book out before summer started, and we made kind of goals and values for this summer. What do the kids want to do? What do I want to do with the kids? What do we need to do and have that balance so I can get my work done and we can do these things? And it
Right.
was just really neat to do the work with them too and hear what they were saying. So I can't wait to continue to do that because it is a whole family. It's not just, one person. We're a unity. So it's like you all need to be doing that. And it's great. And I hopefully as you guys are growing, you can incorporate your kiddos too. But it is
Yeah.
just nice to have that as like the backbone and the base to go back to. My husband and I actually check in every month, a big check in and our
Yeah.
goals, and then we do like a Monday check in. And I can tell the months and days when we're not doing that because we're all out of line and we're all crazy. So I think it is a great tool for couples and families, and it just adds so much value. Um,
My husband and I like to um, have what we call a state of our union check-in. And so we just like to sit down, you go through the motions of daily life and it's just fast and it helps to stop, pause, and evaluate, like, are we on the same page?
mhm.
What does our month, week, etc. look like? So
And
we've
I think it's so good.
developed a whole toolbox.
Yeah, everything's always changing. Like you said, your
Yeah,
values and everything aren't like the busy life. School's letting out, or
yeah,
schedules are switching, or people are sick. Even like when the kids get sick, Aaron and I had to sit down on a Monday, like, okay, we're both working, kids are sick. What's our game plan? What's our goal? How are we trying to do this? Just those little pieces to function. And we had one thing where this month we were starting out every month. We don't care what it is. We have to have one date night, and
yeah,
someone will rotate
yeah,
who's planning it because life gets so hectic. And sometimes you forget to even have those little non negotiables and spending that time together. So it's just nice to have it down, like you said,
yeah,
and then look back and be like, oh, yeah, this month was kind of off. We kind of missed the
yeah,
mark here, and kind of reevaluate. And you know what? Do better next month. But it's nice to have it because sometimes you do forget what you say you're going to do, and then getting that book back out and saying, "Oh yeah, did you
oh yeah,
remember?"
our little accountability booklet,
Yeah,
yeah,
just like,
for sure.
yeah. Oh, get back into that, and it's fine. The coursework is not for you to have this perfect life all the time. It's to help you when you fall off and you're feeling not aligned anymore, to get back in and look at those and be like, okay, where do we need to readjust? What are we going in? What's my drives and drains right now? What
Yeah,
non-negotiables am I not doing? And help you reevaluate your life. So it's just a really good tool. But I think, yeah, having that written down kind of gives you like a very accountable, like, oh yeah, I did say I was gonna do that. And I love getting it out the next year and saying, oh, we had this goal and this goal, and we met that, and we met
we
this one.
did that at the end of the
Yeah.
year, and we were able to look back and be like, we we accomplished quite a bit. So
Yeah, and
that
make
was
it
really
fun. And that's a
encouraging.
fun thing to do. Be like,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, this is, you did all these great things. And if you didn't get all of them done, that's all right. Move them to the next year.
yeah, yeah,
And then you can
exactly.
celebrate next year when you get those done.
And I think an important piece to the puzzle was putting together the absurd list.
Yeah.
Um, we came up with so many kind of off the wall things, and have been able to even tackle, just start scratching the surface of them. So I feel like I tend to just go through the motions, right, of like what needs to be done to get through the week, and it's you sometimes don't take a step back to say, like, blue sky this one. What could we
Yeah.
do if, we have 5 years from now? What does that look like? Or what's the most insane idea you could come up with that maybe is just tangible if you work toward it? So that was really encouraging.
We just did some post and dug into a few others who had given us some, feedback, and a lot of it was about the absurd list. That when you actually get going and you have your goals set and your values, those absurd ideas don't seem as absurd anymore, and you actually
Right.
end up tackling some where you thought that's never going to happen. once you break it down and you have your, action plans and your values, all of a sudden you kind of start chipping away at these. And that seems so absurd. But then looking back, you're like, oh my gosh, I did these things. So
Yeah.
I do love that.
And I think in many ways for me, at first it was difficult to come up with my absurd list. I'm like, I don't know, there's these three things. And I had to like dig at the crevices of my mind to be like, all right, maybe this is possible. Let's put it down. And even just the act of putting it down helps you inch toward it. So yeah.
And maybe was the business on your absurd list?
Yes, actually, it was because what it was, let's see, when we were going through the course, we were still a year and a half out from when I actually launched the business. So it absolutely seemed like it was still on my absurd list to actually sell product and get it out the door. Yeah.
I love that. So every year you guys have to reevaluate your absurd list and keep adding on
Yeah.
to that now that
Yeah.
you're taking
Yeah.
things off.
Yeah.
That is so great. I love that. Is there anything we did not touch on that you'd like to share with the audience?
One last element from Strategic Plan for Life that I loved was writing my own obituary. And it to be able to put yourself in the mind of hopefully 102-year-old me and to say, what would I like to have accomplished? But not even so much about accomplishing, like what who do I want there with me at the end, and what do I want my life to be about, right? And will I be happy with it all if it looks like this at the end, right? And to feel like, am I on the trajectory to get there? Is an important exercise.
Yeah, it seems morbid if you haven't done the exercise, and
No, it's so fun.
it is. And then
Yeah.
what's so funny about the exercise is that is what really pushed me to do some of the things on my absurd list, because I thought, well, that's in 5 years, or I can't get to that, or I really want to do that, but I don't have time, or I don't have this and that.
Yeah.
And then I did that piece, and I'm like, wow, there is maybe no tomorrow. Like, one of my absurd things was leaving the job I was at, getting more time with the kids. And then I wrote that. I'm like, oh, my kids are getting older.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get this time back. Who knows? And I quit my job, and
And here you are.
yeah, and I have that now. It's like, it seems
Yeah.
so absurd, and I was so scared. But then doing that deathbed activity really was like, wow, you either do it now, or when are you going to do it?
Yeah.
So I did love that.
100%.
Thank you so much. I loved having you today and hearing this. And I am going to tell everyone again, the bug spray, and we'll share that link. We love seeing
Absolutely.
our community do amazing things. And I'm so excited that you took this leap and you tackled that absurd list and are doing great things. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.